Hi everyone, and welcome to Designed with Nicole Nowosad for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. Today we'll be talking about shaker cards and two different ways that you can easily create fun shaker cards on your own. We'll be using products from our friends at Jillibean Soup, featuring their Shape Shaker program. We're going to start with a prefabricated shaker card, just like this one here. So as you can see, I have a clear dome shaker insert as well as a card base. And the card bases come from Jillibean Soup already with the center taken out, so the shape of the shaker. In this case, we're using the large circle shape. There are several different designs to choose from. I really like this one. I like the really big shaker look, so that's the one I chose for today. And I've just trimmed out some paper, pattern paper, and I'm going to just draw a circle through that to the back of my paper and trim it out. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife for this one, but as long as you stick close to your pencil line, you really just want to be careful that paper is going to fit nicely over top of your shaker insert later on. So try to stick as close as you can to that pencil line so that it fits nicely and you don't have any issues. Now I'm going to grab my shaker card as well as the insert, and I'm just going to line it back up again just to make sure it fits properly, and it does. So I will just adhere that to the front of my card. If you wanted to do any decorating or sewing, for example, onto your shaker card, I would do this before I attach it to the front for obvious reasons. Because once it's on there, it's on there. So for now, I'll just set aside the shaker insert, and I'm going to add my sentiment. In this case, because I have such a wide open area, I'm going to stamp my sentiment using these stamps from Jillibean Soup right to the center of the top of that shaker insert. Now, for obvious reasons, when you fill the shaker insert, gravity is going to take place, so everything's going to kind of fall down a little bit. So you need to keep that in mind, and so that's why I'm going to stamp on the top part of that shaker window. Pardon my head, that got in the way there. So there's my sentiment all ready to go. And now I'm going to just simply fill in the inside of the shaker. I have some sequins here, also from Jillibean Soup, from the Shape Shaker program. They come in different colors, all packaged separately, but I went ahead at some weird point and mixed all mine together. So I'm going to use just a rainbow of colors. And you just want to kind of test out if you have enough or too much or too little of your shaker contents. And then you just peel off the adhesive backing. I like to just hold mine in place and press down. It's really just that simple. The great thing about these shakers, number one, you can see how quickly we just made that card. So it really just depends on how much embellishment you want to add to the front of your card. Will determine how quick or slow you get your card done. And then I'm going to fussy cut a whole bunch of flowers to decorate the front of mine. But the shaker insert makes it so fast and easy. This shaker insert and all the ones from Jillibean Soup all are about 1/4 of an inch in depth. So you can keep that in mind when you want to fill it. You don't need to use simple flat things like these sequins. You can use some little chunkier items like smaller buttons, beads. You could use coffee. Oh gosh, there's so many things. Small wood veneers. The possibilities really are endless. There's quite a few things you could fill in there. You could add glitter. So many things. So I'm just going to trim a whole bunch of flowers. I'm not going to bore you with the details of that, but I'm going to do that to decorate the front of the card. Now, obviously, because that shaker insert does protrude from the front of the card, you have to keep that in mind when you're embellishing. So I want to use some of these flowers from the paper, but unfortunately, because the dome pops out, I have to be a little careful of how those flowers lie. So I really want to have like a floral ring type feel around the window. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of the flowers that I want to use, stick them down slightly, and then just go flip my card over, and you can see I'm just trimming out the remaining pieces. So that gives me that floral kind of look, but it doesn't, intrude with my shaker card inserts. There, I still have all the fun shaker bits, and you'll be able to see my sentiment once I kind of get those shaker bits to settle. And I'm just going to finish off with another flower and some enamel dots and bling. And that's it. It This card comes together so fast, mostly because of the insert and the shaker toppings. So if you are able to grab yourself a set, I highly recommend it because it's a fast, easy shaker card to put together. There's no messing around with anything. It's very simple and it's just like a 1, 2, 3 process. Okay, so here is the inside of that card. You can see that how thick that domed insert is, and it holds quite a few sequins, and it's just really great. It's a great item for you to put some nice, chunky, fun, really interesting things in. You could really be creative in this department. So a really fun way to make a shaker card. Now the next card we're going to make is where we're going to make our own window for the shaker card. We're going to use the same products from Jillibean Soup without using that domed insert this time. I'm going to stick with another one of these large circle window cards and have some pieces of transparency here, which is actually a piece of a page protector that I've started to cut apart, and I have some foam adhesive. So just cut down your transparency to a little bit larger than your window hole, and you just add that to the back of your card inside with tape runner. And it's really just as simple as taking your foam adhesive and going all the way around the outside of that shape. You want to really make sure that you're close together with that adhesive so that none of your contents fall out later. You can see I obviously sped this up, but you want to go all the way around as much as possible in getting everything to fill in. And you can see it fits properly. You can't see any of the adhesive through the window, and all there really is to it at this point is to peel off the backing of your adhesive and then add your contents. Now, the one thing about this kind of window card, shaker card, is you have to be a little more careful about what you put in the shaker. So in this case, I'm just using some more of those sequins just for simplicity's sake, but you definitely don't want to add anything like a glitter, for example, mostly because it will fall out of your gaps in your foam adhesive. But you could add more flatter type of embellishments like small beads, micro beads, or these sequins, for example. Now I want to decorate the front of this card, and the one positive about this kind of card is that you do have the ability to add your embellishments kind of on your window. So I'm going to add the same kind of fussy cut flowers to the front of this card with the same sentiment. This time I'm going to add the sentiment on the outside of the card, and I'm just going to make a quick little pennant shape here with my cardstock and tuck that in underneath my flowers, and then decorate the rest of the card with some more of those fussy cut flowers. In this case, you can overlap your window a little bit, so it's not like the other card where we had to kind of trim them out. You can leave them all whole, and then you can decorate all around that window. And I'm going to use foam adhesive for this one, just to kind of give it that 3D kind of look to some of the flowers. And then I'll just finish off the card really simply like we did for the other card with similar enamel dots and bling. So here's how things turned out with this card. You can see the pretty sequins there in the center, and the card is a little bit flatter than the other one. One thing to be careful is, as you can see here, some of my sequins got stuck to my foam adhesive when I put it down in place. But overall, the cards look pretty, I think, and I can't decide which one I like better. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again over at scrapbookandcards.com.